Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Coding at home. This is episode 4 of the inventory system for the survival series. So if you haven't seen the previous episodes, go back and watch them and you'll be all caught up. For those who are following along, we'll just jump straight into it and hopefully try and get this finished in this part. We'll see how we do. These episodes are longer than half an hour. They're going to be about an hour just to get it done. I think the full series will take about 4 or 5 hours to complete. So you can definitely do this in a weekend or in an evening's work. All right, so let's get straight into it. Now, we need to come into this widget, and for the inventory slot, this needs to be different from the dragged visual slot. So let's get up my template, which is this one, and head over to my widget for the slot and update. So what I have got here, I have not got the event construct. I've actually ran this in a function. So we need a function, and this is going to be called update item slot. So we will need the item info, and we will want to set the item info in here. This is not a local variable, this is the main variable. Okay, so you need to set the item info, and then you want to break from this, and you want to yes, you can't drag off of here, but to make the graph look tidy, I'm going to promote all these to local variables. Okay, so this is going to be local name, and connect up, promote to local variable. This is going to be local icon, connect up, L_weight. That's spelt wrong, I don't care. Promote to local variable, local amount. I'll try and do this as quick as I can. Promote to local variable, usable, L_ for local. Does it rot? Promote to local variable. Does it rot? L_ for local. Max stack. Promote to local variable. L_ max stack. Does it stack? Promote to local variable _ does it stack. Empty slot, promote to local variable, L_ does it stack. Sorry, L_ empty. Description, promote to local variable, description. Health, promote to local variable, L_ health. And enum type, promote to local variable, L_ enum type. And let's drag all these over. Connect that up, and like so. Okay, now then. So, the graph is empty. If it is an empty slot, you want to come up here and set your icon. So set texture to whatever. I think we're using this one. And then you need to set just grab the amount, set visibility to collapsed. Pardon me. You'll also want to set the name to collapsed. Bring these down here. The icon usable. You will need to set the progress bar. You will want to set the weight. Just pretty much everything really. So they've got the amount, not the icon though, but the rest of them. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. And then you can return. Now, if it is not empty, you'll want to set the name. You want to set text to local name. You want to set the image icon, set texture to the local icon. You will want to set the item weight, set text. Now this you will want to times the amount by the local weight, so it adds it up for you. You do not want to truncate. Try it this way. Yes, that is what you want. And you might also want to actually not put that to text. Format this text so we can make this look visually pleasing. So you want curly, weight, curly close, and then put kg, and then put the number as the weight. You then want to set the item amount, set text to the amount. That can go straight in. You will want to set, is it usable or edible? So usable. You will want to if this, and then if it is usable, set the visibility. If it's true, set it to visible. If it's false, set it to collapsed. And then you want to have, does it rot? Set, well, just copy this like so, and then change that to the progress bar health, and then set visibility for the rest of them back to visible. So you'll want the amount to be visible. You'll want the icon to be visible. That one's been done. So you'll want the name and the weight to visible, and then you can return. Hit compile, save. Now then, I think we are pretty much there. So now we've got the actual drag and drop functionality. So to initiate a drag and drop system, you are going to want to override on mouse button down. Okay, so let's do the split and alt first. So let's see. You can get the player controller, and I know it's another cast. There is other ways to do it. Convert that to a pure cast, and then you can get shift down. So let's do this one first. If shift is true, you can get the inventory component and hit split stack, and the item info, and we have not got the slot index for some reason. So you will need to have that. So this is slot index, make that a variable. This is plugged in somewhere else. I'm sure we'll come across it. So you want to split the stack, and then if that was successful, you will return, and then you want to check is alt down. Get alt down, do an if, and then if this is true, you will want your second inventory, which we haven't done yet. But if it is false, you'll need to get your mouse pointer event and then detect drag if pressed, which you'll just click this, it'll sort that out for you. And if that is true, return and connect the return value. We'll come back to that when we do the storage. Sorry, so you can't return off of there. That's why split stack doesn't have a return value, a success value, because you can't do anything with it in this point. So we now want to override detect drag on drag detected, drag and drop on drag detected. Move the camera over. So we want to get the item info, break it, and we want to create widget, set a comment. So you want to create widget, and this is a drag visual. And obviously we have done that differently this time, so that makes our life easier. Now you want to create a drag or if you just type in drag, I think it comes up. Create drag and drop operation. The drag and drop operation is my drag and drop operation, the one we created earlier. And then this is returned. So this information is important here. So you will want to connect the visual payload to self. You will want the item info. You will want the slot. And you will want the player controller. And I know it's another cast to PC player, but it can be a pure cast. And then get the inventory component and plug that into there. This is how you want it to look. If you want to drag from the corner or whatever, I like to use the center and have no offset. Okay, so that is an on drag detected. So we should be able to now, inventory component is missing something. What are you missing? Yes, because we changed that. So we want to call the function version of that now, which is update item slot, and put in this array element in here, and I will drag that out so you can see it. That'll compile now, and when we are generating the slots, let's jump into there, and you can hit refresh. Right, sorry, come back to that slot and make sure that this is exposed. Compile and save. Head over to generate slots, hit refresh, and then you can now plug that array index, so that now knows which index it is. And we can now go back into here, and this is now, the reference for this is now being passed through. So, and we hit play, we've got our inventory, we should be able to pick up, we haven't actually done that in the player yet, so let's get on with that one quickly. Blueprints, BP player. Now if you just come over to the event graph, grab a tick, not get tick, just type in tick, it should give you event tick. Now let's see how I have done this. I'm sure it's just a straightforward line trace from the first person camera, sphere trace, yeah. So we just want to be doing a sphere trace by object. App always prefer to use object so you can do the collision properly. And then just make array here. Make sure we're grabbing all the world statics and world dynamics so we don't have to mess around with collision just yet. And the start and end point is the first person camera. Now get location, it will be world location. And this will be the start. You also need to get the forward vector. I'm sure you've all seen how to set up a line trace before. This is the how far it wants to go. On this I have got 500, so that is my pickup range. 500. You can make this a float, a variable, and then do whatever you want with it. And then you want to plus the two together to get your end location and make the radius 3. I'll prefer a sphere trace than a line trace, just so you've got a little bit give, so you haven't got to be perfectly looking at something. radius of 3, and we don't need to draw it. We know that's going to work. So if this is returning break the hit result, and the hit actor we can just cast to pickup like that, and I've got clear line trace references. Yeah, so we need a function, and we're going to clear line trace refs. We'll come back into that in a second. Just know that we need to put that up there. So after we've cast, we want to get the item info, and we want to break it because we want to have another function to call show HUD display looking at item, and all you need in here is to create the widget. So on screen text pickup. So yeah, so we're going to have an is valid, and we don't have that yet. We'll do that. We'll have that in a second. You want to create the widget. The widget is the look at item display. Doesn't need an owning character, but you can promote this to a variable, local variable. No, I would go for a normal variable and just call this on screen text for pickup item. And then we want the HUD, which we have not got. So you can just get the player. I mean, yes, this will be fine for now. Get the controller and just cast, and make that a pure cast, and then you can just get HUD from there, and then you can get the looking at item name, and then you can add child to vertical box, and this will be the child. Okay, so you can see everything there. And now we have the on-screen text pickup. Is it valid? So you don't want to make it over and over again. It'll be overlapping, especially every tick. So if it's already valid, do nothing. And then if your line trace doesn't hit anything, you can clear it or just set it to null or none, which so when you look away from the item, it's fine. Okay, so now we are back in here. So if we have hit, we can show the name. So we want the name in here. So this is going to need a reference to the name. So we want to unconstruct. This is the widget look at item display. Just want to set text to promote to variable and call text in, and just expose that. Okay, that's all you need to do in there, to be honest. So when you come back to player and you can refresh this, you can just drag this into here, hit compile, come back to your event graph, and then you can drag your name in. Okay, hide them pins. So we want to show the name of it, and then we want to promote this guy to a variable, and this is the current looking at pick up item. Current looking at pickup item. And you want to also have a variable for can pick up item, just as a boolean, set to true. And then you want to clear the line traces when you're not looking. So you want to set the current look at item to none. You also want to set can pick up item back to false. And I have missed something here, so what you want to do, just drag back here and then just check if this is visible or is valid. If that is valid, you want to remove from parent and then continue along the graph. If it is not valid, you can just bypass that node. If you want, you could put this at the end. In fact, fucking just grab this little cunt. Right. If you want, you can put that at the end, and then you don't have to have a little bypass. Okay, compile. Hit save. Come out of there. So is that all we need to start picking up items? Yes, the next one is storage. And if this fails, you want to run into this graph again. All right. Hit compile, and then you can pick up an item, and you can do that. So input action interact. Okay, so you could probably do this in here, or you could do it in the player controller. Let's do it in the player controller. So our next one is our interact, which we have not done yet. So let's go interact is pressed. It would be nice if on begin play, let's just get a reference to self or to the control pawn. So get the controlled try pawn, get player pawn. I prefer that one. Right, so get the control pawn, cast to BP player, and then you can promote that to as BP player. That's fine. And then down here you can get as the BP player and ask get can pick up an item. If that is true on pressed interact, okay, you can get this inventory component, which will always be valid. So you can just go pick up item. The item info will be the as BP player will be the get current looking at pickup item, and then you can get the item info from him, set that in there, And then if that was successful, destroy this actor. Like that. Okay. So we should now be able to pick up items. Let's try it. Stupid fucking thing. So we have added a melon, and it's in our inventory, and we can start dragging. Obviously we can't drop anywhere yet, so let's get that, but we are adding items. The display is coming up in the top right hand corner, and it's stacking to 5. The weight's going up, and the name is there, and obviously it is editable or usable because we've got our little icon. And the rot hasn't been done yet because that is in a different section of the series. So update item slot. So we have an error for update all slots. That was probably because I tried to drop it somewhere. I think let's just, I mean, it isn't finished, so I shouldn't really be. So if I pick up and close the game, yes, I've still got an error. I'm sure that error will go away as we get closer and closer to the end product. So just dismiss them for now. That was a short little test anyway. So we are picking up. Now then, we want to do some on drop. So we've started to drag the widget. So let's drop it on itself. So override on drop. So we are dropping the item slot on an item slot or an inventory slot. Okay, so this one, if I get up my item slot and then on drop, is quite busy. Alright, so I'll try and keep this as tidy as possible. This is what it looks like. Alright, it's quite busy. So I've tried, there's a lot of reroute nodes so you can see what's going on. But I'm sure we will be fine. So firstly, cast to my drag and drop. Okay, so we want to know, is it equal to a storage slot? Well, we haven't got the storage slot yet, but we will get a tag. This will make sense later. Equal to, make sure you spell correctly here. I'm just checking. This is to get rid of bugs and duplication and stuff like that. That will make sense later. So you need to check if it's a storage slot. Okay. If it is not a storage slot, which will be the case at the minute, we want to know if the item is equal. So the next one is basically a branch. It is quite busy, so if you just bear with us a little bit. So firstly, I'm down here with a reroute node so we can see what's going on. Let's work a little bit backwards. So if you come off of here, we need an equals. Let's get the item info. Break that. And we want name equal text in here. Right, so is the dragged item, this is dragged item, this is the current landed on item. So and we want to break this. So are the current item and the dragged item name the same? Okay. Is that true? If it is true, you want to try and add to existing. So to add to existing, you're going to want to come off of here. Let's put this up here so we'll make this as clear as possible. I am going to try my best. You want to get the inventory component from here and you want to add to existing item. So this is like you say, if you had 20 and you had 10, you drag the 10, you'd like to stack the 5 and then leave the 5 there. That's what this is doing now, okay? So we need the item coming in and the item coming, so the 2 drag slots. So let's see, the drag slot is obviously this item info. So if we make another reroute here and then get the item info and the item index, and we want the item info and the item index, we want the dragged item info to go into the current, obviously. Yes, bear with me, I just don't want to make a mistake and then teach you something wrong. Yes, this is, so the dragged item info is the dragged item info, the dragged item slot is that one, and that is that one, and the slot is the current slot. Is that correct? Yes, so it's as it seems. So put your dragged stuff, which is this, into the dragged or the current the dragged items or the coming in item into here, and the current, which is here, into the current slot item info and the slot. You're not swapping anything around. You are, however, on the other one, because if this is not the same, drag off of here and you want to swap like I said, I will try and keep this as tidy as possible. So if you want to swap them, you will want to do the opposites. So the dragged no, it is as it seems, because we do the swapping inside the function. So I have overthought, and that's why. So you just put your information in, which is asking for the information. Inside the function does all the swapping about. I don't know why I was overthinking. Just return as true and return here as true. Okay, so we should now be able to swap and move around our items in our inventory. Look at the state of that. Okay, so let's get some watermelons. So let's try that. So that is now moving around. If we shift click, it'll split the stack, 3 and 2, split a 2, split a 1, we can't, restack all the way back up to 5 and move around. Okay, if I leave here, it's where I left it. So that is the start of that. That is working fine. And this is asking access none, trying to read the inventory component for update all slots. So someone has not got a reference so update all slot has not got a reference to something. Why the hell? Like I said, it'll probably sort itself out when I work my way through to the end. But that error shouldn't be happening. Everything seems to be working. The only thing I can think is if it's on event begin play. No. Let's have a couple of seconds, see if I can find it. So is it on a pickup item? Exit out. Still no error. Is it on move? Yes, so it's an on drop. So it's definitely in here. Let's see our on drop. So is it this one? Yes, I think it is getting to my drag and drop. So on drag detected. So inventory component going into here. This might want to be not a pure cast. It shouldn't be a problem though. Yep, that is working fine. Refresh. Just refresh that node and then try again, because if that error was right, this wouldn't be working. So drop, come out, update all slots, is asking for an error. Why are you being a fuck? So it's on drop. Inventory. So we are on drop of here. Return. On drop of here. So we have to add item to existence, swap slots. Let's come into here to update all slots. I don't see why you do not have a reference when you are in the inventory component. Not seeing what's going on there. I'm sure I will find it at some point. We will push on. I will find that error and I will tell you what it is at the end of the episode, because it's not causing us a problem at the minute, so I don't know why that is being a pain. The only thing I can think is that cast node, but I don't see why that would be a problem. Okay, anyway, so what have we got now? So if we hit play and we drop onto the hood, working fine. Yes, obviously that's got a delay, and that is still coming up. Access none, so there's definitely something up there. So update all slots, update item slot. Oh, hang on. Hang on, I thought I just seen the problem there. Yes, inventory widget. Is that your problem? Shouldn't be. Let's go in the event graph. Inventory setup. Yes. Inventory references there, so I'm not sure. Okay. I will find that in a minute. So, let's see. What else have we got? A mouse button down. That's all done. Event graph. We have the tooltips to do. Okay, so let's do that on the item slot. So in the event graph, you want a function, not a normal function though. You want to override on mouse enter. You want to get the item info, break it, find out if it's an empty slot. If this is an empty slot, if that is true, you do nothing. If it is false, get the player controller, sorry, and cast to PC player, and we want to get the inventory component and create a widget. This widget is the hover over tooltip. You can now this is asking to show tooltips, so you can turn them on and off. So this is a branch in here. If this is true, create that, get your item info, promote this to a variable, call this tooltip, and then you want to pull off of here, and then you want to set tooltip. This is an actual function made by Unreal. We did not make this function, and it wants to ask the widget and the target itself actually. Okay, so the target itself, the widget coming in is there, and that will do that for you. Okay, that's just what we made it, what it looks like. This is the function for it. Now then, we want to now on event mouse leave, so override mouse leave, bring this in here, and you want to ask tooltip, where there it is, tooltip, go is valid. If it is valid, remove from parent. Okay. And is there anything else we need? Update item slot. This is all good. So this is completely finished now. On drag detected, on drop. So the only thing that isn't done in here is the storage, which is coming off of here. So let's do this so we don't forget. We'll come back to that when we've built the box. What else have we got now? I think it is time for storage, to be honest. What we'll do is we'll check the time on the video. So we're at about coming up to 50 minutes. What I'm going to do is I'll pause the video here. I'll find out what the fuck's causing that error, and I will be back. Hello, I'm back, and as I thought, when I was saying it can only be something to do with the cast node, I was right. In my template, this is not pure cast. This needs to be a hard cast, and that should solve the error. Okay, let's just try that. Oh, collisions decided to work. So pick up some apples. Drag and drop, split, close inventory, jump out. Yeah, and that's the error gone. Okay, so we're coming up to an hour now. I'm going to cut the video here, and in the next episode, we'll set up the storage, and we should be able to finish off this template. Alright, see you then.